Morning, welcome to 4 by 8 Paper Stuff. This is Beth. We are in the River Journal on the Danube and the Rhine. Let's get going.
Okay. It's dark 30. It's not too bad. It's almost 6 o'clock. Our prompts today were the street signs or shop signs and Collage Castle. So, I don't know how I'm going to do the castle yet, but I think I'm going to use, this is not blood, this is red paint. Speaking of red paint, I'm starting my sketchbook project for 2017. Late in the game, because I've changed my idea so many times. First I was going to do an eclipse journal, and I thought, no, so many people will do the eclipse. And then they have prompts, which one of them is like famous people or talking to famous people, and I had a whole huge fantasy thing going about that. And I really was going to do that for quite a while, and then I changed my mind. And then I was going to do like song lyrics. I just think song lyrics are like poetry and or inspirational words or quotes, and I could do like art backgrounds and just do Purple Rain or some songs, because so many song musicians and singers from my formative years of music, the 80s, are gone now, and I thought, okay, let's do that. Or then I thought, okay, famous people and musicians and singers that are gone, let's have conversations with them. I mean, it evolved into so many different things, and guess what? It is totally evolved into something completely different, but cool. I am taking, because I had all that text out here the other day, I said, you know what? That's just going to be my sketchbook project. Stop going different directions. Stop, because it's due the end of April, which is no big deal, but with a lot of things that are happening with aging parents, my time is getting shorter and shorter, and I knew that. That's the whole plan. But so I said, okay, quit changing your mind. If you want to do the other journals on your own, do them. Like, yeah, when? Okay, but do them. This one is going to be this. So I had all that text out here the other day from all the different newspapers and books and foreign languages. And I said, what if, and I really like altered books and watching people do altered books. There's a lady in California, very close to where I grew up, that does them. That's really kind of cool. And she kind of is really out there on some of her techniques. Not that they're totally different, but the way she interprets them are cool, I think. So I was like, well, can you put book pages in your sketchbook project? And then it led to, let's cut out all these different texts from all these different newspapers and books and put them in the sketchbook. And then I'm like, what was I reading when I read all these papers? And then it led what I read, and then it led to the color red. So it's wet. I won't get it, it's all wet. I took pages, because a sketchbook probably is like 30 pages. And I'm trying to remember to leave a link below about what it is, because it really is a cool concept. And this will be my second time submitting it. Yeah, last year I did the national park videos, pages. And, but I took pages or text from all those different places of all the different languages, cut them into a sketchbook page size, put them down, and then I'm painting over them red. Like I read red, past tense of read, and the color red, and all these different languages. And then I started doing where you find certain words in the page. Or if it was like in Hebrew, I have my own word. And my red led into, there's a song from the 80s called Red Red Wine or something like that. So I'm like red book, red the color, red past tense of read, and book, because it's a sketchbook project. So I'm now in the process of painting each page red and leaving out the words that I am focusing on. Sketchbook project update. So today is castles and shopkeeper signs. This was sitting on top. This is a photocopy of some of my Tomoe River stuff, which I actually did a couple more yesterday that I could use. Now I could use the originals because the crinkly paper is awesome to hear, but I like them so much that I can't use them. So I photocopy them and I keep them as masters. I can use them over and over. Or I could just keep painting them. Yes, I know, but it's a compromise with the hoarder inside of me. Okay, so this is going to be my background. This is going to be where I put my wrought iron shop sign. In the European shops, the reason why they had wrought iron signs is what we've been told is in the old days, when some of these buildings were first built, people couldn't read. And they didn't know this was a cheese shop, or they didn't know this was where you got your meat shop or your whatever shop. So they had pictures of what they did on the inside, or what they sold, or what they were ever offering. But those signs are beautiful. I don't know if they were always that ornate. Some of them are gorgeous. Not all of them, but most of them. And I love taking pictures of those. That's why I put it in my favorites column, and that's how it got into that box of stuff. And da-da-da-da-da. But gates in Charleston, South Carolina, which is where I am. I'm not in Charleston, but I'm in South Carolina, are very, very, very ornate and beautiful. And they even have jewelry fashioned after gates. And there's a man, I think he is in Charleston. I don't know if he's died now or not, but he is famous for his beautiful, beautiful gates. So I'm going to do a combination of the gate, use this as my prompt, and a street sign, a shop sign. And our shop is going to be selling traveler's notebooks, duh, in front of our collage castle. So I'm going to fast forward now because this is going to take a while. Let's get going. Ay, ay, ay. Here we go.
I am doing my sketch of my sign, trying to use some of the ideas, sort of, from that necklace that are made from the gates around Charleston, um, and my traveler's notebook board thing here as a ruler, and coming up with ideas. And I want to um, include journaling not prompts, journaling items in my sign. So my circle is from Dilutions Paint Pan, and I'm going to attempt to draw a notebook. Right now I'm still drawing wrought iron. Um, but I'm thinking, how am I going to make my notebook look like a notebook? Because it just looks like a rectangle hanging in the air at this point. But I have this wild idea. I was looking at those boards from Traveler's Notebooks and seeing their symbols and emblems and brands, and I have stickers from them. So I pull out all these stickers, and the truck has like the Traveler's Factory logo on it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go photocopy that. But you can't just photocopy that little thing, you got to photocopy everything. So I'm picking out a few, headed off to the copier, and I'm going to photocopy them. Thank you again, James Burke, because he tells you all the time, use your items. You can photocopy them. You can, because I've hoarded these things forever. Here they are photocopied. And I'm afraid to use them because I don't want to use them up. Well, I can't order more, but Embalm Kuchin in LA has them, or at times has them. But I just photocopied it. I'm not going to sell it. This is for me. And I'm going to cut out the little emblem on the truck for the emblem on my traveler's notebook, in my wrought iron sign, in my Danube in the Rhine River Journal. Oh, I really like this idea. Sometimes I amaze even myself. So here we go. We're going to glue it down. And now the rest of the sign. So I am drawing the notebook around that sticker, a la photocopy of a sticker. And I'm putting a pair of scissors trying to on here. Did they have scissors back then? I don't know, but mine sign does. Um, and it could be like time traveling. There's an old rustic castle, but modern day supplies. So I'm going to use just colored pencils. And we have spring worms finding their way into things. How did they get in that tin? I do not know. Sometimes we have them, sometimes we don't. We didn't have them last year. About 3 years ago, we were invaded with them. Anyhow, so I'm coloring my sign elements. And not all the time are the signs colored. Sometimes they are. They stain the wood or paint on the metal. Different stores have different things. There's a lot of times there's grapes if they sell wine, and they're always purple painted on there. So there's my traveler's notebook with my traveler's symbol. If you want to see this up close a little bit better, check out Instagram. Theoretically, I should have a picture of it on Instagram already. So hopefully, if everything coordinates in the cosmos correctly. There's my paintbrush with pink paint, just trying to add color, and my scissors and the wrought iron holding all those implements together, and then the rest of my sign and filigree metalwork. I'm using a black straight regular ink pen because it adds a border when other things don't or mess with all the other mediums. So I'm going to make my wrought iron, the heavy wrought iron part, out of Stabilo, and that will make it look more wrought irony. Yes, that's a word. And oh my gosh, I love this. And then I'm going to activate it with the water and smooth out the lines and uh, get it all my wrought iron ironed or forged correctly. And it's not perfectly perfect. I didn't want it to be. You can't be perfectly perfect when you're forging wrought iron anyhow. Sometimes there's little kinks in the get up, and there's some lines are thinner or thicker in other spots and some aren't, but that's okay. It looks homemade, and I would love if I saw this sign somewhere in Europe, especially on the Danube and the Rhine. The brakes would go on, everything would stop, and we'd go in this store. Oh yeah. So that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to attract you into the store. So I'm cutting out my wrought iron and my forged metal sign, and in real worlds I would have cut out the white background behind the elements on the sign, but I didn't want to risk it. Did you see those stickers on the back of that piece of paper? Ooh la la. Okay, so now I need to work on my castle, and I'm digging through this little box, finding a ton of stuff that I made ahead of time for Missouri, and pulling those out to put in my Missouri album. There are all these little elements of cities and things like that that I made, and getting out a lot of scraps of paper. So, and pulling out the Missouri things, there's the photocopy of my key card that I have painted and have layers on. And we're going to build a castle. Do you build castles in the morning before you have a full cup of coffee? I do. So here's my collage of a castle, and that is Hobonichi-like paper that I've painted with just cleaning off a paintbrush and have those pieces laying around. It's the basis of my castle. Those are white post-its that I have painted and are going to be the turrets or whatever you call those things in castles. And sometimes castles get added onto over the centuries, so that's what we're going with on here, right? Right. Oh, I'm building the turrets and going to add an addition to our castle the way you do sometimes. Those are going to be the tops of our castle turrets, just because in a traveler's notebook they should be bright, pretty, and perky, and perfect, and bubbly, and include Zen circles. I didn't have enough variety, so I'm making more. It's all just scraps, complete scraps. So here we go. We're going to build it now. Glue it all together. So we are adding turret tops and turrets and gluing it all down to our page, and the construction crew can go home and have lunch. There's the door to our castle.
Okay, this is out there, but this is fun. And in real life on a trip, I might not do this because I'm more factual in a real life documentation of a journey in a journal. But then again, it was fun, so I might do it again. My sign has a traveler's notebook, scissors, and a paintbrush. I don't know if they had scissors in the 14, 13, 1200s, but in my world they do. And in my world, my castle is gorgeous. But because there's so much black here, I think I'm going to go around some of this in black too. Outline my, oh dear, this is supposed to be over here. You slid. These are the tops of my turrets on my castle, right? Like, yes, of course they are. This is all scraps. Some well, all of it's my own creations. And then you know how they add on castles in different centuries. So the rock work or brick work or cement work or whatever they use, stone granite work, is all different colors over time. So that's what happened there. Here's the door. And the moat is this way, right? Right. Now, I have a little issue with my water because I just painted something, well, an hour and a half ago I painted something red. So there's been a little bit of red bleed through here, but it's okay. It's character in my bricks or granite or whatever. I must say, I would never have thought to do this, and I think, you know, this could lend itself more to an art journal rather than a travel journal. But now I tell you what I would do. James Burke brilliantness, copy everything you have. I would shrink this into a tiny sticker, and maybe about, you know, the size of the Traveler's Notebook stickers that I just copied. You know, they have the London sticker with the Ferris wheel. I don't know what that's called. And different hotel labels. So this could be a hotel label. That would be fun and turn out to be, you know, about that big. That I would not have a problem putting in a traveler's notebook of a real journey and real documentation. I think that would be kind of fun. I did kind of a yucky job here cutting. So my battery's about to go. But I really like that. That was wrought iron shop signs and a collaged castle. Oh wait, my castle doesn't have other. Well, they might have like this kind of stuff. Oh wait a minute, we do need a balcony so the prince can kiss the princess on her wedding day, right? Right. There's the balcony. And then years later they get a divorce. Sorry. Did it crush anybody when Princess Diana and Princess Charles's life came out as such a sham? I'm sure that happens, but it just came out. It was the beginning of social media. Don't know if they wanted it all out there or not. I have to say my traveler's notebook I love. Oh, I do need to fix the detail because I cut it too close on one side, so I'm going to try to fake a rim here with the blue pen. Oh, I did that pretty darn good. Unless you squint just right, you can't see it. In hindsight, I would have cut out the detail here. But, you know what I might do? I might just paint. No, just don't mess with it. Okay, let's draw our other things because I'm not sure about our camera battery here. So we have 3 left. I know one of them is create a journal from a past person, so let's see if we get it. Cheeky. This is kind of cheeky, kind of whimsical. Magazine letters. Oh, okay, we could do that. just letters that I cut out and use as titles or messages or facts or whatever. There are some spring worms already coming into the house. We call them inchworms. Some years we don't have them, some years we have tons. I've seen 2, 3, or 4 already. Okay. Have a good day. See you all tomorrow with a cheeky magazine letter. Of course, here's the crown. Yeah, let's put that right there. So everybody knows it's a castle. It's a royal house. The House of Royals. Love it.